Looking to make a difference with your shopping? Visit communitypayitforward.us. Select the mission or cause you want to support and scan the QR code. You have two options. Click the first link and browse our giving partners, or use the second link to tell us what you need, and we'll find the right partners for you. Shop with these partners and keep your receipt or invoice. Next, click a picture or simply upload a picture of your receipt to the portal in every form, adding your name and email address. Your purchase now turns into a donation to the mission you've chosen. Community Pay It Forward shares your business story with those in need of your services to rally support for those who need us all. Looking to make a difference.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her.
Hello, everybody. It's Zach Clayton. as I obviously took in a breath or something. Oh, look, my co-host is here as well. It's Baby Girl, who heard me talk, and apparently she thought that she had to be part of the show. Zach Clayton with Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels, and Insane Dogs. We are having a bit of an issue with our internet today, so if all of a sudden I freeze on you, blame it on the sky, blame it on something. Just try not to blame it on me. I'm not smart enough to figure out computers. But we are extremely excited because tonight we're starting a new program. Different generations have different issues. Different generations have different solutions. And what I've been wanting to do, and I think that this first show, I bring two of the smarter people I've ever met in my life who have joined the Community Pay It Forward program, both as giving partners. And my new co-host and I are going to talk about the way that the younger crowd, the under 30s crowd, is going about doing business. I don't like the fact that when we were younger, us here in Generation X or whatever generation I'm part of, how people older than us didn't like our work ethic and didn't give us a chance and yada, yada, yada. And we're doing the same thing to these kids. Difference is, it's a whole new entire time. Okay. I like saying that it's kind of like Egyptians didn't have cranes, but imagine what they would have done if they did. Okay. These kids that are growing up and starting this wonderful business world, they have new things that are so exciting, so groundbreaking, and there's so much to them that I think that they can do a lot of good. And I think one of the biggest things they can do is teach us in the older generation how to use a lot of this up and coming things to make our businesses better. So the fourth Wednesday of every month, I'm going to be having Alex on, And we're going to talk about this. We're going to be talking to young professionals under the age of 30. And I'm extremely excited about this. Later, oh, geez, that air stuff, I'm telling you. Later on in the show, I'm going to introduce a brand new mission partner, which she was in an accident at the age of 16. She's a paraplegic, and she started a group called Differently Abled Entertainment. It was a wonderful conversation today. I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot of things, and I'm very excited that we have the ability to start helping her in her program. But to get us started, I'm very, very proud to introduce to you one of our newest Community Pay It Forward giving partners, Mr. Alex Bihar. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here, to be your co-host. And look, if I'm going to be replaced by anyone, your dog is the perfect one to replace me. But I'm glad I'm here, and I'm looking forward to getting started.
Yeah, this when you and I first started talking about this, and as a matter of fact, Kylie and I were talking about maybe doing something together too. And I think that this is just the perfect way to try to integrate you, the younger generation, and show people, look, it's not that you guys don't work as hard as we do. It's that you guys are using the tools that are available to you now.
Yeah.
The keep it simple, stupid method. Well, simplicity comes with youth. Simplicity comes with innovation, and you and your age group are able to bring things to us that we never thought of. It's kind of like, nobody ever thought that they could go to the moon until somebody thought they could go to the moon. So,
yeah.
Seeing the way that AI is working and all this other crazy stuff that we never, we thought about it, when Star Trek was doing it, back in the 70s or whatever. But, Kylie, how about we go with Star Wars? Sorry, I forgot about that. You'll understand this in a little bit, but but I mean, there's so much that you guys can offer to us in the older generation. But Alex, before we bring on Kylie, can you please give us an introduction to yourself and what you do?
Yeah, of course. So I am a college student at NYU studying psychology, and recently I also became an AFLAC agent. So, I've been really excited to get started with that. I've been jumping, full time into being an insurance agent. I love what I do, and I'm super excited for you guys to learn more about that while we have these discussions.
You are. I'm really excited to work with you because you are getting into the psychology and working towards a degree in that, but you are very satisfied with where you are, and you like the chance that you get to help and change people's lives. And this dog just won't quit tonight.
It's the third host.
I'm telling you. Yeah. So, and of course, my wife just ran to the store. So, but you're very, very excited about working with AFLAC.
Yeah. So look, this podcast is not all about me. I don't want to talk too much. It's insurance. A lot of people don't like listening to the insurance jargon, but I'll talk quickly about it. AFLAC is a supplemental benefit, and it's just putting cash in people's pockets. And I love to be the one to do that. I'm working directly with people that need money, and I'm helping them get it. And it feels really good to be that person that takes care of their claims and sort of helps, when some sort of unexpected accident happens and somebody doesn't expect to be able to pay for groceries for the next week, to be the person to say, that's not true. Here's how you get your cash. Here's your cash. Great. And go from there.
Yep. Well, and you can find out more if you go to Alex's landing page on communitypayitforward.us. You can find out more about him, all of his information, Alex_Bihar at us.aflac.com. So, and now she's She's been on a couple times, and I am extremely excited. By the way, if you go to communitypayitforward.us/insurance, you will find Alex's information. Plus, you can also find the interview that we did together just a couple weeks ago. But this next young lady is someone I met a couple months ago. Very, very intelligent, very driven. And like you, Alex, she has that drive to try to help people. She actually helps paraplegics. She works with them, and she invented this wonderful thing I wear on my wrist all the time. I never go anywhere without it. My watch and this. I don't always wear all of my bracelets. I'm not strong enough to wear them everywhere. But yeah, I always have this on because it's easier than carrying a business card everywhere. And I quite often forget my wallet. That's that age thing. So, but I am thrilled to reintroduce another one of our wonderful, wonderful partners, Kylie Whitaker. How are you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing phenomenal. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Yay, no problem. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And I do just want to take a real quick minute, and I do want to wish you and your husband a very happy anniversary. Her husband is a major Star Wars fan, so they got married on May 4th. So,
that's awesome.
But Kylie and Alex, I really, Kylie, let's start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about a piece of Kylie and tell people about your wonderful invention?
Yeah, absolutely. So I created a piece of Kylie in January of this year, and I have it called a piece of Kylie because I knew that I have so much to offer the world that the bracelets are just a part of me. The quadriplegic work, I'm a caregiver of quadriplegics, and that's just a piece of me. And I know that there's so much more coming. And so what you're mentioning, the bracelets, that is the main thing that I'm working on and helping people with. And that is connecting with people easier and more efficiently by having a bracelet that is stylish and easy to wear and has those gemstones on it. And then it also, like yours has your logo on it, which is super, super cool. And then it's got the NFC tag, which has your digital business card attached to it. And it's amazing that it's just so easy to connect with others. And then it's also more sustainable because then you don't have to carry around those business cards. And like you said, you kind of sometimes forget your wallet at home. So it's easy to connect with people, give them your information, and stay connected.
Yeah, like I said, it is kind of funny. My wife knows that as soon as I go to the store, she knows that she's going to be getting a phone call. Guess what I forgot? So and it's amazing. At one point in time I had all of my cards and everything on my phone, but then I was forgetting my phone too. So I don't know. It's one of those things. So I just can't stand it. Kylie, what inspired the bracelets? What was it about that you just started thinking, wow, this is something, again, this is technology that we need to take and introduce to people?
For me, it was mostly the idea of people can wear this all the time. They can get connected to what's important to them because some people, they want to be reminded of something throughout the day. And so it's a reminder to stay connected, to stay in the present. And then also it is a way to carry around your digital business card and remember to connect authentically with other people and then to get their information so that you can stay in contact with them and see how you can help them. And that's just something that I am really passionate about, is helping as many people as I can and connecting with those people and seeing what can I do to make their lives better.
Well,
and
so I
go ahead, Alex.
So I have a question about the way that so personally, my big issue with business cards is that I have too many of them, right? I've gone to a lot of events, met a ton of people. Everybody gives you a business card. At the end of the day, you end up with a stack of business cards this big. You put them on your desk, your counter, whatever, and then the next morning you wake up and you say, okay, I want to reach out to everyone that I met, and you start going through the business cards, and you're lost. You know, you have no idea who to reach out to. You have no idea which person corresponds to sort of which person you met and how to do that outreach. So is there a way that, you know, if we were to connect at some sort of event, that you would store my data so that you can, you know, tie it to a profile of me with some sort of picture? Is that sort of a part of this?
Yeah, so the way that I usually go about that, because I've had that experience before where I come home and I have a stack of cards, and then you have to go through and insert all of that information in, and it's so time consuming.
And you forget half the people, and you never connect with them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what I do now, the app that I have found to be the most useful. Thank you. Sorry, my cat food thing was going off. The thing that I found to be the most useful is Popple. And I know like For My Card works really well too. It's finding a digital business card that works for you. And the way that mine is set up is it comes up with a contact form beforehand. And so they fill out the entire contact form, and then I get that. So whether they download my contact information or not, I have all of their information. And then I go in there and it has their first and last name, their phone number, and their email. And then I save their contact, and I do that right in front of them. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I get a picture with you so that I can put a picture to the contact? 9 times out of 10, people say yes. I get a picture with them, and then I can put anything else in the notes. And then I text them right then and there, hey, it was great to meet you, or something like that. And so it's really easy to stay in contact with people then. And then Popple will also give me a reminder 24 hours later, hey, did you want to follow up with this person? So that I can remember to do that.
Wow. That's really incredible. That's definitely changing, you know, because I know on a personal level, I don't have some sort of method of keeping track of people that I meet. You know, I'm still at the stage where like I'll be taking pictures of people's business cards so that maybe I have them in my phone, but that's a really incredible way to go about business.
It works quite well. And then when you take a picture with someone, then I take that picture and I send it to them so that they have my face too. Wow. And so then they can put that as my contact photo, and it's a reminder of when we met, and it's a little bit more of a connection. So it works really well.
100%. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. And as Kylie mentioned, what's connected to mine is my For My Card, who happens to be another partner of ours. And as soon as you scan this, it instantly comes up and says, do you want to add Zach Clayton to your contacts? And if you hit yes, then it adds you to my contacts, and everything falls in line into that. You know, like, you don't have to go back through and add my website or add my email address or add any of that stuff, because it's already in here in this intricate little wonder. I mean, all the information is right there. And one of the greatest things about this, Alex, just to let you, just to kind of give you a hint, is, look, I am old fashioned, and I do have, I got business cards everywhere. But the one thing that this business card, no matter how hard you try, no matter how many times, you touch that little telephone number, it's not going to make a phone call. But with this, as soon as you hit that phone number, your phone instantly makes that phone call when you want to go to them. Or it'll ask you, do you want to send them a text? You hit that number, you have their number. You don't have to sit there and look for it or anything like that. And me, guys, I never have a pile of them because they're all crumbled up in the filters of my washing machine. Usually the next day, that's where all mine goes. So the only thing that get washed more than my pocket knives are my business cards. So, but yeah. So I again want to express my gratitude to both of you for coming on this initial show so we can really talk about this. Alex, you and I, and Kylie, at one point in time, we also talked about doing this, doing a show together to where we can really take and we can form a generation alliance rather than allow this generation gap. And I think that these conversations can help. What are some of the things, Kylie, that you're using the bracelets, you're using the NFC tags, and you're using, okay, there, I just lost my computer for a second. I know, sorry about that. But I know that people of my age had never heard of this. What was it? Where did you first hear of NFC and its abilities?
The first time I heard about it, I was at a conference of young adults, ages 18 to 29, I believe the ages were. And someone was like, "Oh, you want my Snapchat here?" and tapped a card to the back of my phone, and their Snapchat popped up. And I was like, that is incredible. I can do so much with that. And so I went home and I really started researching about that. And you can put pretty much any link on an NFC tag. And so people can put it to whatever. I usually recommend the digital business card because then it saves into someone's phone. And so even when you walk away, they still have your contact info. But it's got the NFC and then it's got a QR code too, which a lot of people have heard of. And it's a backup just in case the NFC doesn't work for some reason. Yeah. So you've got your QR code on the back and you can easily scan that.
Well, yeah. So I'm curious about how you've gone about sort of scaling your business and sort of how do you go about outreach and marketing and all that sort of thing?
Right now, it's a lot of networking events, and in 20 days, something like that, in the beginning of June, there's a conference that I have a booth at, and so I'm doing that. And then, networking events. I have sold to. I'm actually international now, so I've sold to Canada and someone in Europe, I believe, and so. I do networking events online, just talk to people, and then I've got a form that they fill out. They fill out all of the information for their bracelet, and then I send it to them. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And then creating those partnerships with people. Like I have a woman who hosts retreats. And so she's going to connect me with all of her retreat people so that they can give the bracelets as a gift. And then they can put the logo of the retreat center on there. So anytime someone looks at the bracelet, it's a reminder of the peaceful place that they were in when they went to this retreat.
That's really cool. And so have you started to target more businesses where you're getting in contact with the owners of those businesses to offer it as some sort of benefit or gift for their employees to be able to use? Because this feels like something that, if my district at AFLAC were to hand me a bracelet like this, I could go out and impress a bunch of people at all the events that I go to. Because I do marketing very similarly. I go to networking events. That's sort of my whole business prospecting method. And, if I had something like this given to me by AFLAC that had all the AFLAC logos and stuff like that, I feel like that would be like a huge value add.
I have not done that. However, that is a fantastic idea. So thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I do talk to some business owners, and I was thinking about coaches who could help out with giving it to their clients so their clients could connect to what's important to them. It's mostly been business owners who do go out there and they network with people and they want it to be easier. And that, like you said, the way that you impress people, because very few people have seen something like this. And if it's got the AFLAC logo on it and then all of your information inside of it, then it's super easy to connect with people and you can really stand out and make an impression. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, I met this guy who worked for AFLAC and he was wearing this really cool bracelet." And then
I mean, look, as somebody who's in sales, it's all about first impressions.
Yeah.
It's all about, how do you sort of wow the people around you? Something like this would be incredible. And, I'm sure that you could take this to all sorts of different, sales agents and just, the districts and the owners of those companies and get, start selling them in bulk. And so if I were to receive one of those, do I have to fill out like a form before I receive it? Or do I sort of tap my phone to the QR code or to the tag and fill out my information at that point?
The main thing that I would need is the link that it would go to. So if you have a digital business card already, I would just need that link and then I could tie it to that. Otherwise, I haven't found a way to have a QR code on there and then code the QR code afterwards.
Okay.
I haven't figured that out yet.
So say that someone like me wanted to buy one of these, and I don't have a virtual business card. Is there still a way to, in advance of purchasing, set something like that up?
I would say I'd probably code it to whatever you want it to go to, and then if you do want to switch it in the future, to let me know, and then I could print out a QR code and send it to you so that you
Awesome.
can update it.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's you're giving me a lot to think about, so thank you.
No. Of course, that's the whole point of this. Is you have an extremely impressive product, and it's just how to take it to the next level. And I do think that we lost Zach, so I'll try to headline it from here. But where have you seen sort of the most success with your business?
The most success has been with two different organizations. The first one was Achieve Systems, and that's the conference that I'm going to in June. And I'm actually a JV partner with them. And so having that partnership with them, I'm able to sell to their community. They help promote me. They cheer me on and introduce me to valuable people. And then they get a percentage of that.
Awesome.
And then the other is EBN, which stands for Empowered Business Networking. And that one is all virtual. And I'd say almost half my sales have come from there.
Awesome. I'm actually going to write that down because that sounds like a great networking event for me to go to as well.
Yeah. And I can introduce you to the person who runs it or get you signed up.
Awesome. And so then my other question
sorry
is,
about that. I just lost all.
No, you're good.
Oh,
but,
I'm sorry. I lost the internet. But were you telling him about the Achieve program that is going to be there? Because Alex is coming into town.
I was about to ask for the dates of the actual in-person conference because so completely separate story. I was initially flying out to Colorado to surprise one of my friends who's graduating from Boulder sorry, not Boulder, Colorado, and so they're on trimesters, and so their graduation is I think June 15th, and so I'm coming in June 2nd, meeting up with his mom, and I'm going to surprise him. And then all of a sudden, I've started to do a ton of work with people in Colorado, and I have all these connections. And so now I've sort of transitioned it into a business. Like, obviously, I'm still going to be there for my friends, surprise him, do that. But it's also become sort of a business trip. So this is definitely something that I'd want to look into.
Yeah, definitely. June 7th and 8th is when the conference is. I will have to double check. I heard that it was completely sold out. So I will double check to see if you can still come to the Power Leads Day.
Okay.
If not, the networking event on Friday night is open to everyone.
Okay. Yeah, well, and we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sweet. Yeah.
I think we lost back again.
The internet, something's going on there.
No, that's okay. But
yeah. Networking events are a great way to increase visibility, to get empowered partners that are going to help you scale the business and introduce you to other people who are going to be beneficial for the business.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I think that the way that we both do business is the perfect example of that. We could not be more different in sort of what we lost him. Okay, that's okay.
He's gone.
But we could not be more different in what we do, but we go about networking and doing business the same way, right? I go looking for power partners, anybody else in the insurance industry, right? I don't know how much you know about IMpACT, but it's a supplemental insurance, so it's very unique. And I don't overlap or step on the toes of other insurance agents. So when I find another insurance agent, I get really excited because exactly what you're talking about with those power partners, that's what those insurance agents are for me. You know, we operate in the same businesses in different ways, so it's just how can we work together? And then, you know, just like, once again, I'm sure you've heard of Aflac. I'm sure you've heard of the duck. If I was in my apartment right now, I have these ducks that I always like to show because they're just cute and fun. But nobody knows what we do. So it's all about, you know, increasing visibility and sort of talking about what it is that we do. So yeah, networking, I completely agree with sort of how important it is and how much it can increase your visibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with something like that. Like I've seen the commercials. I know it's the duck. I hear AFLAC. And but I don't know I didn't know that it was a supplemental insurance company.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool that you're getting out there, you're networking with other people, you're building those connections, and that you're not stepping on other people's toes, because I, for myself, believe that there shouldn't be competition because everyone is so unique. And I get it. Like you can do the same exact job. However, people are very unique. And so working with you is going to be completely different than working with someone else who's also in the insurance.
Yeah, 100%. No, I completely agree with you. And more than that, everybody has a different approach to it. So even if there was another Aflac agent sitting next to me, I specialize in blue collar companies, 25 to 75 employees. Like there's different people that operate in different ways. Like I'm not very good when I walk into like a 20-person law firm. I'm not going to be the guy that goes in there and sits down and understands sort of the situation that those people are in. I am the type of person that's going to sit down with someone in the blue collar industries and be able to have a legitimate discussion about sort of what's going on with them. Sorry, I will say this podcast is supposed to be about you. When I start talking about insurance, I get a little excited and ahead of myself. So I do want to bring it back to you. And I know every time I go on something like this and I'm talking afterwards, I always think to myself, there's one thing I wish I could have said. What is the one thing about this that, that our questions haven't allowed you to sort of talk about? What's that one thing that you really feel the need to say and get the message out about this?
Oh, that's a really good question. I've never thought about that before.
If you don't have an answer, because you've done a great job of advertising the product, I just wanted to make sure that there's nothing like very specific that you wanted to say that you didn't have the opportunity to.
The only thing that came to my mind is be yourself, because like the way that I do things, I'm all about being yourself and being who you truly are, being authentic. And so when it comes to my jewelry, like the bracelets, like this one in particular, this one, the top can come off of it and it has a hidden QR code so that I can change it out depending on what I'm wearing, what my mood is that day. And I just want to be different. I want to stand out. My glasses, I can change the color of my glasses. And so like
that's incredible.
Thank you. I've got different toppers. I've got different styles. I've got different looks. And so I can change what I am wearing and what I am resonating with the most that day, depending on like what I feel. And so then I'm not just, I feel like I need to wear this color or this thing because that's what people are expecting. I'm going to be who I'm going to be. And so that's one of the things that I want to tell the listeners is be who you want to be and don't let anyone say any different, because you are unique and you stand out, and you should stand out, especially with all of the different companies and stuff out there. Like you said, you have a specific niche. You have a specific thing that you do, and the way that you do it and the way you build those connections and all of that, you're very unique compared to someone else. And so there's no, you want to be yourself, and because everyone else is already taken.
That's a great quote. And I'll so now that you just showed sort of the versatility of the bracelets, do you offer, like, say that I'm buying one, can I get different tops for it and customize each different top?
Yeah, absolutely. So every bracelet comes with, so Zach's is a 2-side. So one side is his logo, the other side is the QR code. This one side, it says "Be You," which is funny because I was just talking about that. And then the other side says "You are capable, worthy, and amazing." And then I can switch this out, and I have another one here that says "Be yourself, believe in yourself." And you can change out the look. You can change out what it says. I even have a little holder that holds 4 of the toppers, plus it holds up to 3 bracelets. And so you can change it out, have exactly what you want it to look like.
And can you customize like the color of the whole thing? And the reason that I ask this is, I'm sitting here thinking, there's certain types of events that I want to present myself. I want to wear a button-down shirt. I want to show up feeling really fancy. And if I have a bracelet like this that I'm able to customize to sort of match the fancy vibe that I'm giving off, is there certain like attachments that can sort of help me do that?
Yeah. So Zach is showing his. He's got 4 different colors on there,
Wow.
and
Purple, green, moon rock, and yeah, she does these, and she does them while you're sitting there watching her, and
Wow.
and you're talking to her, having a great conversation, and you can design them, and like you see, they're beautifully put together. I mean, they're definitely something that goes with everything that you wear. I wear mine with t-shirts, obviously shirt and tie, and whatever I'm wearing, I'm proud to wear it. First off, it's got your logo on it, which makes it yours. Okay, you know that this is mine. I mean, that's my company, and it's neat when people look down and they see.
All right, we lost him again.
he's gone.
so you know what? I'm gonna.
Just.
Oh, he's back. we lost you for a bit.
But,
here, I'm instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer the question that I asked you about that one really important thing. The sense that I'm getting is that not only are they customizable, but they go with everything, right? Like if I want to go to some sort of black tie event and wear one of these, I can wear it proudly, and I can change, the buttons on it. I can change it to match the colors that I want to wear. I can change it to match whatever type of event I want to go to. And I think that is sort of a testament to how creative you were when you made this. So very good job on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I do my best to make it very versatile. You just gave me an idea of doing the different toppers as colors. And then if you put like Aflac in the middle of it, and then the rest of it is a color of like light blue, then it matches what you're wearing. Or you can just have different colors to the suits that you have. Then you really stand out. The bracelet matches, and it kind of like people see it like, hey, that matches. That looks really cool. Where did you get that? What is that? It says Aflac in the middle. Is that what you do? And then it's very intriguing, and they want to know more about you because you stand out.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's incredible. And you know what I really expect to happen with your business? I think that you're talking about all the different locations that you've gotten these bracelets out to. It really feels like, word of mouth is going to take you a long way. I'm going to show up to a networking event wearing one of these in the same way that somebody impressed you by tapping their Snapchat to your phone. I'm going to impress somebody else, and they're going to ask me where I got this, and I'm going to link them directly to you. And it's just going to be a continuous stream of that happening. And I'm really excited for you and your business.
Thank you. And that's something that I am kind of prepared for, because on the inside of every topper, so you take the topper off, and on the underside, that's my QR code, so that you can easily share my information with other people.
That's incredible.
Thank you. And it has a space on there that says who referred you. So I know exactly where the referral is coming from, and I can give a thank you. And I do 10% refer cash or 15% towards a bracelet.
Well, that's awesome.
So far it's working pretty well. The website is actually shopwithapieceofkylie.now.site.
Awesome.
The website
okay.
is not here. I'll send it to you so that you can put the right website up. There you go.
And again, she's also part of the program. So, if you really want to support somebody, this is a great way to take and get one of these wonderful, wonderful products. And you can sit there and talk to her as you're doing this. And you can donate to a mission that you choose, people who need your help. So, always let them know that you heard about them here, and we get to take and put money towards something that you care about. So,
yeah, absolutely. That website right there, it can take you to a little order form, and the order form walks you through every single piece of information that I know, from what gemstones do you want, what do you want it to look like, what is your wrist size, and then what is the link that you want it to go to. And then it does ask, what do you a percentage of this goes to a cause. What do you want to support today? And so people get to choose. They get to go to Community Pay It Forward and choose where they want their money to support.
Well, that really is incredible.
It is, like I said, and I do apologize for all the trouble we're having. We're on the phone right now with the internet company trying to get them to fix this, but our first show, Alex, our first show, so.
No, it's look, if with a guest like Kylie, it's going great regardless.
Yep, and you too. I am like I said, this was a match made. When it comes to this, and of course, when my internet went out, you started. I remember you were coming down here. That Achieve thing is going on, and I'm like, oh my god. And so I'm sitting here yelling at my computer, come on, start working, and going, oh my God, this would be so great. Kylie, what are those dates again?
June 7th and 8th.
June 7th and 8th. So,
and
yeah,
so you'll be here.
Yeah. So, and right there, we were talking about getting together. I can go and introduce you and I think that you already have one intro here. Be a perfect time to get your personalized bracelet and like I said, it's not only great looking, but it's so functional.
Mm-hmm.
It is so easy, and you were talking about it. It's kind of one of those things that you walk up to people and you go, yeah, I could give you a business card, but I got something better. Let me see your phone, and it works both with Apple and Samsung. So, I love them. I really do. And like you were saying, Alex, when we were in the Achieve meeting, I didn't hand out cards. I took and I grabbed my bracelet and I started, and then was telling everybody, yeah, the lady who makes these is going to be here tomorrow, and it was really cool. So,
yeah, no, that's really incredible. And then I guess I just have this is more of a curiosity question than anything else. How do you go about making these?
I make them at home. So the everything that I make myself. I have a 3D printer. I design everything on Tinkercad. When I have a new idea, I have the holder that holds the bracelets and the toppers. I had the idea for it, and then I sketched it out and brought it to life with my 3D printer. So I sit there with a board that has the different wrist sizes on it, and then I put the beads together to make sure that it looks good, and then I just piece everything together. I get really strong magnets so that the interchangeable bracelets, they stay on there really well. And I hand make everything. And then when I package them up, I use tissue paper that I go to baby showers and Christmases, and they just throw it away. I take all of that tissue paper and I reuse it, and I wrap it up really nicely and make sure that people know that I really care about them and who they are and what they do, and I want to support them any way I can.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there's also these little silver beads inside of here. I like these ones because they're kind of they've got maybe little Norse looking designs on them, but she's also got other things on there like the Tree of Life. This one means a lot to me, because this is this just screams my mother, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do with it. But I mean, she's got all kinds of things along with the beads, and she just makes them personal. And like I said, she'll sit there and have a conversation with you, while she's doing it, and she's just, obviously she's so much fun to talk to, and she's easy to talk to. Thank God. So,
knock us off.
But Kylie, I want to I want to thank you
so
so very much for jumping on with us today. Was there anything else that you really wanted to tell people before we part this evening?
if you have any interest in looking at what these bracelets can do for you, you can always go to my website or go, yep, you put it at the bottom of the screen, shopwithapieceofkylie.now.site. And that's a piece of Kylie, PEACE. And yeah, so if you're interested, I'd love to help you connect easier with other people and really connect to what's important to you. And it's a really cool thing. Makes you stand out in a crowd for sure.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you for being here.
Alex, did you have anything else you wanted to ask her?
No, I think I'm very happy if you are.
Yep. And you
Awesome.
can also go to communitypayitforward.us, a piece of Kylie, and you will find all of her information. Again, she gives back with every bracelet as well. So please, look, if you want to impress people, dress for success, right? So, but Kylie, thank you so very much for joining us. I really look forward to a continued relationship and working together. Again, happy anniversary, and thank you for being our first guest.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on here. And I'm excited to see you again, Zach, and excited to meet you, Alex. And I get to see you both in like 20 days, which is super exciting. So
Right?
thank you so
Yeah,
much for having
Looking
me.
forward to it as well.
this is great. Well, thank you so very much, and we will see you later.
Thank you. See you later.
See you later.
Goodbye. Yeah, like I said, Alex, I mean, she was one of the first people that I thought of, and I wanted to reach out to her, and get her on this because, like I had said before, she was, when she connected with me and invited me to this event that's going to be going on here in about 20 days. And her and I had a great conversation. She was like, "Hey," and she got me connected to this Achieve Network. And I'm going to tell you something, man. There's a lot of support there, and it's a really good network to be part of. And I'm really excited for you to meet her in person because, like I said, this is it's exciting. Again, seeing somebody who can take and think outside the box and do something like this.
Yeah, no, look, I completely understand why you wanted to have her on. She was a great first guest, and I'm really excited to come down and meet everybody that you're talking about and sort of see what the networks outside of New York City look like.
yeah, a little bit smaller. Okay, a lot of it
There's
smaller.
something really good about having us like you get a lot more personal connections, right? Like a lot of the connections I make are great. You go up to somebody, you talk, you shake their hand, and it's great. But you're in a room with 50 to 100 people, and you have less than an hour, so you're trying to get around to as many people as possible. In a smaller room like that, there's definitely its advantages.
Yep. Well, you know what? We're gonna be having some fun together. We're going to be dare I say, making a little bit of noise and telling people about what we've got going on here. And I think this was a great first show. I want to thank you very much for accepting my offer. And I really want to thank you for covering my butt while my internet decided to go kerfluffled on me.
Not a problem at all. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for all the future episodes and what this show is going to bring.
I appreciate it. All right, Alex, we will be in touch. Thank you so very much, my friend. And we'll see you in just a few weeks.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye. Alex VR, great, great kid. Look, like I said, this was important to me because there is that generational gap. We're never going to talk the same language. Okay. But now we can at least understand each other a little bit better. I was talking to somebody earlier and I said, Well, this has been fun, and I am very, very sorry that things have went like this tonight. Um, Anybody who knows me knows I'm not. I don't do well with things that go wrong. And we've got internet that's just not going to work with us tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to play play the interview with Joni Campbell right now, and I hope that it comes through. This is a wonderful interview with a wonderful, wonderful program, and I really, really hope that this comes through. So this is Joni Campbell with a program that is called Differently Abled Entertainment. We are thrilled, absolutely thrilled to introduce to you our brand new mission partner, Johnny, the founder of Differently Abled Entertainment. Johnny, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Zach. Thank you so much for having me on here and for, having me join as a partner with your amazing community Pay It Forward. I'm so excited.
Look, this is one of the reasons why when I heard your story and your dedication to this and your reasoning, which we're going to really get into, because I'm thrilled with the way that you put it. To me personally, you are one of the, your story and your dedication to people who are differently abled, disabled, or just need something additional, but they're not different. I mean, they're no more different than anybody else. Every single one of us has different abilities. And you know what, I told you we were going to get into this a little bit later, but let's go on ahead and do it now. um
Yeah.
the name, you've got a lot of kickback on the name, which is really surprising, because if you think about it, differently abled is not, you're not trying to classify someone. You're just, I mean, it's an admission that everyone has different
Yeah.
needs for ability.
Yeah. That's my whole thought process behind it, honestly. Because I was injured when I was 16. I'm now 42, so I've been 25 plus years, going on 26 years in a wheelchair. And I when I first said it, I thought I was being really clever, and I thought I had come up with it all by myself. I'm like, I'm differently able. I just got to do things differently now, because and not that I think there's anything wrong with being called disabled. I have a disability. Like, differently abled is a slur. And I meant no offense to anybody when I decided to name my organization Differently Abled Entertainment. But my whole approach is it's not just representing the disabled community. It's really, we are about representing marginalized groups and those that need better representation in the entertainment industry. Yeah, we did start out, kind of, from my own personal experience. Yes, I am from the marginalized group of the disabled community, but I also fall into a couple of our other marginalized groups that we deal with. I mean, we deal with low income families, LGBTQ, people of color, veterans, a wide range of people that just need better representation and that have had a different approach to life, that they've had to go about life a little differently in order to succeed, in order to follow whatever it is that their aspirations and their dreams are, trying to push them towards. And so that's when I say differently abled, it's really everybody, because I'm pretty sure everyone in the world has had some kind of struggle or something that they've had to overcome or something that they've had to approach differently in order to be successful at it. So that's my whole reasoning behind the name of the organization. It doesn't just represent the disabled community. It's about everybody. It's about everybody. We're all a little different.
Yeah. And see, Johnny, look, here's a story that I'll just tell from the weekend. We were doing yard work, and I take care of my parents who are older. And my mom and dad were in the yard because they love doing yard work. Mom fell again. She fell. And we kind of had to get on her and tell her, look, Mom, before my accident, if you would tell me to go out and lift a car, to move a car, I would lift that car and move the car. Okay, before my accident. I'm no longer able to do that. She has problem with bone degeneration. She's got problem with her legs and stability and everything. She has had to have a couple toes removed due to this bone issue. Well, guess what? She doesn't have the balance anymore. We had to tell her, look, you are not able to do what you used to do. Guess what? I would love to go to heavy metal concerts still. I can't do that because of my head injury anymore. Not that I loathe that fact, but the fact is that I am now differently abled. I am no longer able to do that. We are all, every single one of us, and this is why I love your point. Every single one of us has a different need to be able to do something, fulcrum and lever as opposed to brute strength, Ruth is what it is. And it is, to me, it is actually kind of sad that some people don't accept that this is not an insult, this is a truth. We are all differently abled, every single one of us.
Well, it comes from those people that don't understand, like, my perspective, that it's an everybody thing, and they take it more as it's like that there's a problem using the word disabled,
Right.
and there isn't a problem with the word disabled. I just, for myself, I use both. I don't necessarily refer to myself as differently abled usually, but like, because it's more of kind of like a jokingly thing, of like, yeah, is kind of where it came out. And it's more of like, that's for everybody. When I'm referring to my disability, I say, I usually I don't, I'll tell people I'm a paraplegic. I'll tell people I have a spinal cord injury. I'll tell people more specifics about, like, what it is. I don't really, unless it's a form or something, I don't use the word disabled to really represent myself. I'll tell people I'm a paraplegic. I'll tell people I'm a wheelchair user. I tell people a lot of things, and but because for me, like I said, I mean, in disabled, I do use it when I have to use it because that's the proper terminology, and I'm kind of big on syntax and terminology and all that. But really, like I said, for me myself, I still do most everything. I'm lucky enough to where my spinal cord injury was very low. And so I'm still I still have all of my core muscles. I still have full upper body strength, and I was lucky enough to where I didn't sustain a head injury. There's many things that I feel very blessed about when it comes to my injury, and things could have been so much worse. I mean, that's always the thing, and that's how I look at it. But I've gone on with, my life pretty much in the same trajectory, I think, as any other person would. I'm just a person just like everybody else. I've had my struggles, but you know, life goes on. I had kids, I went to school, I've done businesses, I've
That's
worked,
exactly where I was going to go with this.
like I've had to approach life differently though. I mean, because it wasn't easy. There are a lot of obstacles. The world is not very accessible. And a lot of people are very ignorant when it does come to the disabled community. And when it does come to, wheelchair users. And, it it can be a struggle. It definitely has been a struggle. But it's like I have no choice but to live my life the best I can live it. And if I have to go about things a little differently, then I guess I have to go about things a little differently, because I'm not going to just give up on my life and my dreams and where I see myself. Like, I am still the same person I was before my accident. And those people that are, born with some form of disability, they're no different either. They're people just like everybody else. We are all just human beings trying to do the best we can do in this world. And and everybody, and I don't care if you're able-bodied or disabled, you give 5 able-bodied people the exact same task, and you say, I want you to do, and you just tell them from point A and where their end point is. And I bet every single one of those 5 people approaches that project differently, because we
Exactly.
all have different minds. We all do things differently, whether you have a disability or not, whether you can, because a lot of people, when I tell people everybody's differently, well, some people will be like, well, I'm not, they kind of get like, oh, like, because there's like this stigma with like having something quote unquote wrong with you, which, and I don't like to use that either, but that's a lot of the mindset that comes from the ignorance that's out there when it comes to the disabled community, and that comes from lack of representation, which comes from, I mean, and that stems into a lot of other communities. And that's why we are about representation for more than just the disabled community, but many marginalized groups, because there's a lot of people that just aren't understood. And the reason that they are not understood is because there's no representation for them, or the representation that is out there for them is stereotyped, or it's not proper. Like when it comes to the disabled community, according to Google, 26% of adults in America have some form of disability classified are disabled. That's over a quarter of adults in America. But we're only represented in film and TV 1 to 2% of the time. And 95% of those roles are played by able bodied actors. So, in the little, like, minute amount of time that the disabled community is represented, we're represented by people that are not actually of the disabled community.
One of my favorite shows in the world, and is Justified, and one of the main characters is in a wheelchair, yet he is not somebody who is wheelchair bound. So uh, uh, I really want to get to the beauty of your life, but one of the things that I would just like to ask you, if this is kind of the way that you see it as well, using the word disabled, if you're introducing yourself and using the word disabled, is a scary thing sometimes, because it gives people that they have that little thing where they sit there and go, oh shoot, what can this person not do? They hear that word disabled, and they're
Mhm.
already throwing in their mind, well, can I hire this person because are they going to be able to handle what I hate using the word I am disabled. I have a disability with my head injury. I have a disability. That doesn't mean I'm disabled because I can do a hell of a lot more than you think I can do. You know, I may
And it's
struggle.
interesting how people hear those two words and they think about it differently. They really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
It's like,
yeah,
well,
like you said, when they hear, a disability, they're like, oh, okay, well, it's a lot different than being fully disabled.
right.
Because to them, if you're fully disabled, then that means that you're fully incapable of, you know, performing, basically, is that thought that's behind there. And it
Right.
is. It's interesting because um, I drive a car. And so I'll be out somewhere and like at a gas station or something, and like I'll have my mom with me who has to use a walker. But like it's a lot easier for her to get out and help pump the gas than it is for me to get my wheelchair out and get the whole thing out. But people see me driving and they see me and they're like, they don't think there's anything wrong with me. And so there's been many times that I've gotten some really interesting crusty looks and I've been told like, why aren't you getting out to help? You should get out and pump your own gas. And I'm like, well, I'm actually a paraplegic and my wheelchair's in the back. If you want to get my wheelchair out, I guess, like you want to help my mom get my wheelchair out, because that's a whole thing too. But people don't assume or think that there's anything, even if there's plates or whatever that say, handicapped or whatever. Like they just they see me from the waist up. They see me and I look able bodied. And even like meeting people, even in networking calls and stuff like that, when I go to tell them that I'm the founder and all of that, and they're like, okay, yeah, and they see me. But then when I tell them that, oh, but I actually have a disability myself, they're like, oh, ah, like I didn't expect that. And,
Yeah.
and it's interesting to me, and that comes from the representation that we have had in the disabled community. I mean, the reason that people think that that's all that we're capable of is because that's how we've been represented. We don't have proper representation. I know of a lot of people with a lot of varying disabilities that have done amazing things and are very, very productive individuals when it comes to being members of the society. There's this stigma attached to disability, and then there's also like the pigeonhole that, unfortunately, because of insurance reasons and stuff like that, and what certain people are allotted to get and not allotted to get. And when it comes to like supplies that you absolutely depend on, like these are things that sometimes we get those in the disabled community, we get kind of stuck in this cycle that you can't really get out of. And then people that are not really of that cycle don't fully understand how that cycle works and how you can be so sucked into it. And then there's like this stigma attached to that of, oh, everybody, they just want to mooch off of and get whatever they can for free and da 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 da. And there's just like this whole out, human beings. I mean, from one extreme to the other, and we all have different minds, different lives, different experiences, different trials, different tribulations, different dreams, different aspirations. You know, like that's what makes humans so great. But at the same time, that's also, by us being so different, it can be hard for other people to understand. And if you don't have any representation of what somebody could be, you know and if they are only represented by able-bodied actors or whatever, you know and you have people of different races playing people of different races, especially when it comes to people of color, it's kind of like anybody with brown toned skin can play anybody. And it's sometimes that's offensive. That can be offensive to those people that are actually of a certain culture. They want to be represented properly. People, in the disabled community want to be represented properly. People within the LGBTQ community want to be represented properly. You know, you see all these, shows and stuff like that about like transgender or, gay, lesbian. And it's like a lot of times, they're straight actors playing these roles. And so why?
Yeah.
Why is that? There's talented people from every community, and that's what my organization is trying to help bring together and represent and give people a space to be properly represented, because it allows the rest of the world to have an understanding of somebody else that they may not have ever met or come across. If you don't ever see anything about anybody, then of course you're going to be ignorant if you meet somebody, because you don't know. I mean, you can't know what you don't know. And if you've never been shown even kind of any kind of proper representation of something, if all you're shown is stereotypical stuff, like when it comes to the disabled community, I'm sorry, but a lot of the roles and a lot of the films, they're about the disability. They're not about the person. They're not about the person's journey. It's about their sickness. It's about their disability. It's about their injury. It's about their accident. It's about the thing that there's everybody, and so that's what I want to see more of, is just proper representation to help other people learn empathy and compassion and just a little bit of understanding and awareness about things that they maybe not be exposed to in their just day to day. So
Well, I think this is an absolute perfect time to bring this around to differently abled entertainment. Okay. I want to list a couple things that make you who you are. One, you've already mentioned it. You're a mother.
mm-hmm.
Okay. You're a mother. You love the arts.
Mm-hmm.
You are an inspirational person, and you are you're a heavily driven person to make sure that people understand your wheelchair is not your life. Your wheelchair is part of your life. It is not your life. So tell us, what is the reason behind differently abled entertainment?
So, and our mission is to promote and encourage differently abled artists in the entertainment industry by producing content featuring their talents. Okay. And so, yeah, we want to represent people. We want to represent them properly, and we want to give people a chance. And that comes from my own love of, like you said, I am a lover of the arts since I was very young. Since before my accident, I was involved in, you know, choir, theater, everything I could be involved in, in the arts. And then after my accident, I mean, that love doesn't just go away. You don't just break your back and then all your love of everything that you've ever loved just goes with it. Like, that doesn't happen. So um so I continued to pursue acting. And when I was in college, I had a theater scholarship, and the director she offered me the scholarship. And she says, with this scholarship, it's, you're assistant director of the theater department. The reason that I want to offer you this scholarship is because you're a very talented actress, but the world isn't very equipped for disabled actresses. And so I want to teach you directing and producing, and so then that way, if somebody doesn't want to give you a role, you can just do your own thing.
Yeah.
And that was the message that she gave me in college. And Pat Ennis, rest her soul, she passed away a few years ago. But she was a huge driving force in, a little bit of a reality check of like, hey, you know, like, yeah, you're talented. There's going to be people out there that aren't going to be able to see past your chair. She put me in all kinds of roles that weren't, designated for somebody in a chair because she could see past that. I played Mrs. Cratchit many years. It was a repeated show, and they still do it back there where I'm from in Nebraska and Scottsbluff. They do Christmas Carol almost every year. And I played Mrs. Cratchit like 4 years in a row. And well, not in a row, because I kind of moved away and then came back for a little bit. But anyway, I played it 4 times. First couple times, 2 years was in a row, and then the other ones were kind of spread out. But anyway, she had me play Mrs. Cratchit because she was like, to me, it kind of makes sense. She goes, there's something wrong with Tiny Tim. Why couldn't there be something, wrong with his mom? That we, it's not ever mentioned or anything like that, but she's like, it's never mentioned that she's not in a chair. And that's, that was her perspective. And that was kind of what I said. It's like, I think, from my chair, I've auditioned for all kinds of roles because I'm like, unless this role requires the actor to do jumping jacks or run the mile or jump hurdles or climb a mountain, I'm pretty sure I can play anybody from a chair. It's like, it's just a matter of, a different perspective. And so, yeah, she gave me opportunities a lot of times, but then she was, she goes, not everybody's going to be able to do that. Not everybody's going to be willing to do that. Not everybody's going to see that option, that it's even a possibility, because again, oftentimes people see the chair, they don't see the person. They see the disability, even if it's not a chair, could be a crane, a crutch, who knows what. But so that was kind of a little bit of a wake up call. And then I was like, all right. And I got more serious about directing and stuff like that. And then a few years later after college, and I was pursuing some of I basically had my dreams offered to me. I had this really great role offered to me, but I didn't have proper headshots at the time, and I didn't have a reel, and I was on, a disability income, which is hardly enough to even live on month to
Garbage.
month, and I was a single mom of 2.
Let's say it. It's garbage.
Yeah, I was a single mom of 2, and basically I couldn't afford all these things that I needed in order to be able to follow through with this, offer that came to me, and it crushed me. It absolutely crushed me. I mean, to the point there was other things going on, but like my mental health took a huge dive. I was suicidal, and I spent a week in the hospital, just trying to get myself to feel better and realize that life isn't over and life will go on, and so that's something that I try to be very honest with people, because some people see me and see that I'm so upbeat and da 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 da, but I struggle. It doesn't mean that I don't still struggle with things, and that I don't get frustrated with life sometimes, and that I don't have my moments of depression, and I really struggle with anxiety. And that's something that I try to be very honest with people about, is like, yes, I try to be upbeat, and I try to just keep on keeping on, because that's what helps my mindset. Because if I didn't do that, then, I mean, to be quite frankly blunt, I would not be here right now if I didn't have that ability to kind of pull myself up, and keep going despite, you know, life not being very friendly to to people that are in, that have, disabilities. It's a struggle. And so I went through that, and that's why that's a lot of the reason, that, I mean, we offer, headshots, and we've done we've helped with music videos, we've helped with photo shoots for people, we've helped with all kinds of things to build up portfolios. And, those that can't afford it, we have a very low fees. And then those that can't, we have scholarships for everything, and it's not really, I don't, it's just free out of, out of us, like basically, because we haven't really had any funding. So it's not like scholarships that are actually paid for by it's just, it will let you slide if you don't have it, because I don't want somebody that's talented, the reason that they're not pursuing their talents is because they can't afford a photographer, to get headshots. So they can't, send in things properly for auditions, like these are all things that, the industry requires. There's a toolbox no matter what it is, whether you're in front of the camera or on the stage or behind the scenes, as an editor or lighting or whatever. You need a portfolio, you need a reel, you need promotional materials that show what you do. And if you don't have any of that for your personal self, you're not going to get anywhere. And
That's
a lot of
John
times,
Wayne. John Wayne didn't start his career as an actor.
yeah.
He, he didn't do that. Let me ask you this. Are the resurgence of movies and shows that are switching characters? I think of something like Samuel L. Jackson as God, what's his name in the Marvel thing, in the Marvel universe? Um,
Oh,
oh,
I
geez,
know. I can see him, the guy from Shield. I can
right,
see him.
yeah, but originally that character in the comic books was white.
Mhm.
Okay, um, they're changing that. One of the new series that's just come out is off of the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and you have a person of color and Oriental lady that are now Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So they're taking and they're redoing a lot of the casting. Hamilton, about Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton in history was not black, but now Hamilton, one of the I honestly I've never seen it, but from everything I heard, it's amazing. Is this inspirational? Is this exciting to you because you know that there are rewrites of things that are coming out that could lead to opportunities for people?
Well, okay, so it's to a certain extent. Sorry about that. To a certain extent, yes. But I honestly, I'm not a big fan of all the rewrites. I would like, new original stuff, because like we have lots of, redos and new sequels of things that it's like everything from my childhood is getting like chewed up and regurgitated.
Annie,
Um and so I would like some originality, but I do recognize that a lot of things have been, whitewashed as far as Hollywood goes in the past. And so like the redoing of like Steel Magnolias and stuff like that, I have an appreciation for both, it doesn't bother me. Like Little Mermaid, there was a big deal at the Little Mermaid. It doesn't bother me. Like none of that bothers me, and I think it's somewhat good to a certain extent. Like I said, I just wish there would be more just new stories, because like we don't have to remake everything. Like let's just do some new stuff, and start a new thing with new everybody being more inclusive. Like let's do that instead of trying to remake everything that's already been done. So that's my opinion on that. And as far as Hamilton goes, Lin Manuel, uh, I love, love, love Hamilton. I highly recommend it to anybody. Although I would say if you ever watch it, definitely the first time you need to watch it with the subtitles on. But again, yeah, no, like Thomas Jefferson wasn't black. Like, like these people weren't, but a lot of the history that is there is pretty, it's interesting. And like his whole thing was it was just about, having that different representation. Um and yeah, I mean it is different when you first watch it and you're like, okay, wait a second, like this doesn't totally compute because these people weren't of that. And but I don't know. It's just so
Not only that,
amazing that it doesn't bother
the
me.
black.
It doesn't bother me. And it's interesting um how it works. And for me, that representation of different, races and stuff like that. Although when it comes to, I like things to be kind of historically accurate.
Yeah.
And so it was very much something that even still it kind of like collides within itself in my head because of how like my brain works of like, wait a second. Like I want somebody to look like the person that they're supposed to be representing, you know, but for some reason, I don't know, with Hamilton, it just works for me. It's like I don't even care because it's just so amazing. It's like the most beautifully choreographed and like the wording and just everything. I'm just like every time I watch it, I'm just in awe.
I'll have to
So
I'll have to
um
take and watch it.
and so it's like it's hard for me to be like, but it's like, but wait a second, because like, yeah, Thomas Jefferson and like all these people that are in it, like for me, it kind of it does kind of fight with me in my head because I very much I love historical pieces. I'm a sucker for something, but I like it to be more accurate, historically accurate. And there's accuracy in there, and then not there's also stuff that is just made up entirely just to make the story a little juicier. But because I've watched all kinds of behind the scenes of what's true, what's not true. But it just works though. And I think it's genius. I think it's genius. So sorry, I could go on about all.
No, I'd be very interesting. By the way, Nick Fury is what I was looking for.
Yes, Nick
Um,
Fury. There you go. That's
and
the guy.
Yeah, one of the other roles that I was thinking of earlier before I asked the question, of course, and then completely blanked it off, was they turned little orphan Annie, you know, her character. They ended up doing a remake with her being black as well. So, but once again, you don't see this a lot with people who are differently abled. So when it comes to people with disabilities, you don't see that a lot. Um, we
No, I have to give a shout out though to Netflix with a lot of their original
Yeah.
series lately. They have had a lot more representation and proper representation of just people like being people, being the people that they are in all kinds of interesting shows. And so I've really seen the disabled community, especially, and just other marginalized groups, really starting to be represented a lot on Netflix with their Netflix originals and stuff. So from a fan and from somebody that's like watching for those kinds of things, because it is starting to happen more. There is somewhat of a trend with representation matters, and so, which is good. We need that momentum of it being trendy to have inclusiveness like that. That's a good trend.
let me ask you this question, and this is something that I was, after our conversation started, I started thinking about him. Someone who I'm not sure how easy it was for him to get the role, but somebody like Peter Dinklage, he, you know,
Incredible.
he took a role that could have been very degrading, and he ended up turning that character just because of him and his power. He ended up turning that character into somebody very, very strong and a very, very strong character in the Game of Thrones. He did a
Hmm.
great job. And this is somebody who all of his life has had to deal with being different.
Hmm.
Do you like seeing something like that? Because let's be honest,
Yeah.
he is somebody who has to who's going to be simulcast or not simulcast, but
Typecast.
typecast. Yeah, typecast. He's going to be typecast, you know,
Yeah.
but he took
Although
this.
I don't know, there's been a couple times that I feel like, I mean, he's played roles that could have been played by a full statured person, you
as
know.
the scientist in
Yeah,
and
I mean, he's done some stuff that it didn't necessarily have to be, you know, a, a little person playing the role. And I know some people don't like that terminology. I have a friend of mine, you know, he's like dwarfism, and he wants to be, you know, that's what he prefers to be called, and then that's offensive. And so I'm not trying to offend anybody when I say a little person. I feel like that's more of what's accepted. But yeah, whatever. Um, like he is an incredible actor. He is incredible. I have a list. I say my list of actors I'm gonna work with. He is high on that list of actors that I would be honored to work with, and that I have high hopes of getting to work with sometime in the future, because he's just incredible and he's funny. And I mean, his timing is impeccable as a comedian, and then and his physical comedy is great. And then also when it comes to being serious and like being a powerhouse and being even a bad guy, I mean, he can just do it all. His range is incredible. And so like when I see him, I just, you know, like I like to think like I look past a lot of things. You know, I have a lot of friends with a lot of varying disabilities, a lot of things, whatever. I don't see that. I just see the person that they are. And like to me, like he is incredible. And I pretty much have liked anything that I've ever seen him in. And, you know, and it's nice to see, you know, I mean, before him, there hasn't been a lot. I mean, we had Warwick Davis there, you know, forever. And, you know, but it's interesting that how it's like we have like this token one person, you know, like why is Peter Dinklage the only person that we can think of right now? Like I'm sure there are other people of that community that are also talented actors,
absolutely.
but we never see any of that. It's like we you know, it's like we decide that, oh, okay, well then you have like this one token person that is like that's like the, you know, I mean, as far as, you know, we have Ali Schroeder in the, you know, wheelchair community. She was the first person with a disability to win a Tony Award, you know, and she's done a lot of movies and a lot of things, you know. But like it's like you can name the people. Like pretty much, you know, you ask people to like name actors with disabilities and they can name them because there's not very many. Like if I,
Right.
you know, it's a lot harder if I just, you know, name every action actor that's ever acted in an action film. You know,
Yeah.
you'd have to search it, you know, and really think about it.
You're going to
Like,
start going down a list that basically never ends.
yeah.
Johnny, we all know, and here's the question. We all know that money is king. Differently abled entertainment also could use donations of
Well, we are always looking for volunteers. And I mean, if you're local in Tucson, great. We also have a lot of remote things that people can help with. And then also we are, you know, we take donations of, you know, in kind things, you know. Um, we're always needing all kinds of stuff, costumes and stuff. I mean, if anybody, like I said, if you're in Tucson, it makes it a little easier. If not, I mean, shipping those things to us is an option. But you know, we're always needing
Vineyard,
things for our events,
really
things for
amazing
our sets.
place.
We do
Our
monthly
Center for
rummage
IMpACT,
sales to
really,
help with our
everything comes
fundraising,
out of there.
'cause
And to
we're
date,
still
we've
just a baby
donated over
nonprofit.
$8.2 million
And you know, yeah,
locally and globally,
money is
and to
great,
over
but there's a lot of other ways
32,000
people
different
can help.
nonprofits.
If you're willing to volunteer some time, you know, or collaborate with an event, or you know, there's all kinds of ways you can help. It's not just monetary. You know, there's a lot of things behind the scenes as far as clerical type stuff, data entry type stuff, like things that, like I said, that can be definitely done remotely. Um, I have a very small team of volunteers. I'm fortunate with the ones that I do have, but I still definitely need a lot more. I still wear a lot of the hats when it comes to like our social media, and that's another thing. I mean, even if you don't want to be a volunteer and help with the things, just liking our page and, commenting on stuff and sharing it. Or if you know somebody, like, those of you that aren't, around the area, but maybe you might have family in Arizona, you could tell them about, like, hey, there's this thing in Tucson, for those that know somebody that's around here, but just liking and sharing and commenting and just getting us out there, because we do have hopes to expand. We would like to have chapters in other cities as we move forward with this organization. Yes, we're just pretty much based out of Tucson right now, but I've had volunteers in several other states already. And we have done one event to help like do some backpack stuff and some school supplies stuff out in Nebraska this last year. And we're doing another one this July out there again because we have some volunteers out there. That's kind of where I'm from a little bit. I'm from a lot of places, but like that's where I had my car wreck and graduated high school, and where my kids were born and all that was out in Nebraska before I'm a transplant to Tucson. I've been out here for 8 years, but so that's where we're kind of, I would like to see us, be in the major entertainment hubs though, to start out with, like Chicago, New York, LA, Atlanta, Albuquerque, like Nashville, these, Houston, places where, music and movies and TV and all that stuff is, really popping and really happening. That's where I'd like to see our organizations spring up in chapters. So then that way, you know, the more representation, the better.
And let me go ahead and throw this out as well. You know what? To everyone out there that is putting on shows or looking for a certain talent or looking to create something. Maybe this is a conversation that you should be having. Uh, get a hold of
Yes,
them and see what. And even more important, if you're putting together a show, make sure that your show is accessible to everyone, because you've got to
exactly.
remember that there are people out there who do require ramps or extra wide aisles or seating arrangements.
Hmm.
It is a fact of life. It's a fact of life for them as well. They still love the theater. They still love the arts. They still love concerts. They still love all these things.
Hmm.
A wheelchair, a disability does not mean that your life is ended. It means that you now have something that you're learning to deal with, and it doesn't change your life. I mean, it changes your life, but it doesn't make you a different person. So just
Exactly.
be cognizant of all of this. So look, I mean, I this conversation has been amazing to me, and one of the reasons why it's been amazing to me is we never even got to the accident. So, but the why don't you go on ahead and briefly tell us about the accident, because we've already heard all the amazing things. So let's
Yeah.
talk about real quick why you started, what happened to create this program.
Okay, so when I was a junior in high school, I was also a CNA at a nursing home. And I was on my way to work. I lived 15 miles out in the country on dirt roads in Nebraska. And I was on my way to work, and there'd been a lot of stuff going on in my life, some personal stuff, breaking up with a boy, studying for finals, high schooler stuff. But there was a lot. And I'd actually with my home life, and there was just a lot going on, and so I was thinking about all of those things. And the night before, I'd hit a soft spot in the road doing like 45. I had a 76 Torino, kind of fishtailed a little bit, so when you drive dirt roads, you kind of remember those spots. So I was coming up on it and I looked down and I was doing 110. So I took my foot off the gas. I didn't hit the brakes, you know better than that. But I still, the car slowed down to about like 87, 88 miles an hour when I hit that soft spot in the road. It took me driver's side first into the ditch. And the ditches there, it's a wheat field. And so irrigation ditches. And so it's very steep. They're about 3, 4 feet, off the road. So that way, if it rains, the runoff waters the field. Um, so it clipped the front end of my car. My car did 3 cartwheels, and then and I was thrown because my seatbelt was broken, but it actually saved my life. And then the car kind of teetered on its front end and then came down on its roof on my right shoulder, and I was conscious through it all. I When I opened my eyes after hitting the ground and all that, my tire was spinning up by my head. And I was really close to being like completely crushed by the car. And I consider myself very lucky. Like I said, at the time I was a CNA. In order to be a CNA, like you got to go through a lot of nursing training, certified nursing assistant. Along with that is EMT training. And so as I was laying there, I kind of started assessing myself as a first responder. I started talking to myself in third person. I saying, because at first when everything was happening and I looked, and then I felt it felt like my legs were on fire. I thought there was flames. I thought like the car was on fire, and I thought I was on fire. And I looked and there were no flames, but I couldn't move my legs. And I knew right away I'd broken my back. I'd been studying, and and I just knew right away what was going on. So I started talking to myself in third person, and I said, John Lee, you've broken your back. You're going into shock. You need to try to stay calm. Try to take a deep breath. So I took a deep breath, and I was pinned under the car, so it hurt, and I couldn't get a very good breath. And so it you're there, and then I fought with myself in my head. Okay, well, I shouldn't move, but I can't breathe. Like, what do I do? Do I stay underneath the car? Do I get myself out from underneath the car? You know, I'm still 8 miles out in the country. Like, I don't know when somebody's going to be driving by. Like, I don't, this is 1998. I don't have a cell phone. Um, you know,
Yeah.
and so like all these things are going through my head. And so I grabbed a hold of the back of my right knee. I got out from underneath the car first. I like kind of slid, and like luckily the wheat field had just been tilled, and so the soil was soft, and I was able to kind of like get out from underneath the car, but it was still pressed like right up against me, and I still couldn't breathe very well. And so I grabbed a hold of the back of my right knee and I rolled over onto my stomach. And it was an hour and a half before anybody found me. So yeah, and then when they got there, I told them, when the EMTs and all that got there, like I told them I broke my back in the lower thoracic, and they're like, "Well, let's get you to the hospital." And we get to the hospital. I told the emergency room, I broke my back in the lower thoracic," and the emergency room doctor, he goes, "How do you even know that word?" I said, "I have a physiology test tomorrow."
Yeah, it is kind of doctors don't really like hearing that you know what's going on, I'll tell you that. So,
Yeah,
Johnny, thank you.
yeah.
I know that the accident probably not something that you would do again. Um
Yeah,
I tell
that's not something I put on my agenda, my
yeah,
to-do list, and I don't advise anybody else putting it on their to-do list either.
that's exactly what I was going to say. I tell people I tell them all the time, look, getting into business for yourself is a great thing to do. It's a lot of fun if you're driven, if you're patient, if you know what you want to do. Getting into business is a really cool thing to do, and I suggest doing it. Just don't do it the way I did it, because hitting a fence that hard hurts like hell. So
Yeah,
don't do it the way I did it, because it sucks. So, but look, I appreciate everything about you. I appreciate everything about what you're doing. I appreciate your values and I appreciate your drive. I am proud to be a small part of trying to make your dreams come true. By the way, you will see above Johnny's head, you'll see the QR code. If you like the story that you've heard, scan that QR code, make your shopping count, shop with any of our giving partners. And when you do that, when you use that QR code, you're going to be able to donate to Johnny and differently abled entertainment. There are other things that you could do to help. Reach out to her, find her page on Community Pay It Forward .us, find her page, get into a conversation with her. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. We've spent about an hour here with her, and you've seen this. Imagine what else you can do together. So, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you would like to touch on?
Well, just, thank you, Zach. Thank you for the opportunity to be, one of our sponsors and, our partners. I really appreciate that. Yeah. If our website is ourday.org, like our belonging to us, OURDAE for differently abled entertainment. We call ourselves Day a lot. It's less of a mouthful. So ourday.org is our website. And yeah, check us out. Get in touch on social media, whatever. On the website, there's a way to email me. Yeah, get in touch. Let's have some fun together, or let's get you some more exposure. If you're somebody that's like, hey, I've worked with people, like I said, from all over. I offer acting classes virtually. As far as like resume building, help with promotion, help learning how to, market yourself on social media, stuff like that. Get in touch. Get in touch. Like there's people out there right now that need more of all of us, that need better representation. So
Yep. And
get in touch.
collaboration is key. So
Yes.
let's
Let's all work
let's make
together
this
and make the
grow.
world a better place.
That's
And,
right.
and I'm just really appreciative to everybody that can see why this organization is needed, and because as far as I am aware, I'm the only one. I shouldn't say I, because it's not just about me. This is not the John Lee show. This is not the Johnny game. This is differently abled entertainment. I do have a team of people that help me get this, off the ground. It takes a team of people to do what we're trying to do. But what we're trying to do, I'm pretty sure that we're the only ones that are doing exactly what we're trying to do. So there's a few other people that kind of are doing a little bits and little bits and little bits, and that's all great too. But I'm pretty sure we're the only ones that are us, that are
Oh, it's
doing
never
the
about
things
me,
that we're
it's
doing.
about we. So
It is. It's about all of us.
let's get to work and try to help people in any way we can. Thank you. I
All right. Thank
appreciate it
you, Zach. I
so very
appreciate
much.
you.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. I want to apologize for all of the problems that I've had throughout this show today. 2-hour show, and I've maybe been here half of it. So I apologize. I want to thank Adrian for being on the phone and yelling at Comcast so I didn't have to. And dealing with this this issue. Again, I want to say sorry to my guests, but you know what? I also want to give Alex and Kylie. I want to give them all the kudos in the world because they stepped up and did a wonderful job. You just saw a spot for one of our newer
mission partners, Dignified Dementia. Well, Dignified Dementia is having a fundraiser called Jim's Journey coming up on July 17th. That's going to be, of course, July 17th of this year from 4:30 to 8 p.m. at Green Valley Ranch Beer Garden. That's Green Valley Ranch Beer Garden, 4995 Argonne Street in Denver. That's 4995 Argonne Street in Denver on the 17th, Jim's Journey fundraiser. We learned our first lesson in a lot of the things that look, the younger generation, there's a lot of hope out there. There really is. There's a lot of hope, and there's a lot of positivity because we've got great, young, energetic people who are doing wonderful things. Kylie's got her wonderful program. Alex is training to help people fighting through mental difficulties, which is something that, we truly, truly love on this show, talking about that, and giving people their due, trying to help them go through a very, very difficult situation. We need to support them, and we need to make sure that we are mentors, not agitators. Okay. Like I said earlier, it's kind of funny that we sit there and we watch the videos of a kid trying to use a rotary phone and they can't do it. They don't understand that. Well, every time I get a new cell phone, I have to call my boys using my old cell phone because I can't figure out how to use my new cell phone. Not knowing how to use the new technology is a hell of a lot bigger of an issue than not using old technology. Okay. It's kind of the way it is. So, let's make sure that we're mentoring them and not just throwing them out there to the wolves and then getting all over them because they're not doing things the way that that we see as correct. QR code up in the corner is how you can support how you can support differently able entertainment. Scan that code. It goes straight to their page, their connection page to us. Just go, you find one of the partners, one of our giving partners that you can shop with, like Kylie, like Alex. Do business with them. They're going to send you a receipt. Attach that receipt directly to the place where it asks in that form where it asks for it. You just attach that and it will send it to us with your choice on who you want to donate to, and then it becomes a donation. Looking to make a difference with your shopping? Visit communitypayitforward.us. Select the mission or cause you want to support and scan the QR code. You have two options. Click the first link and browse our giving partners, or use the second link to tell us what you need, and we'll find the right partners for you. Shop with these partners and keep your receipt or invoice. Next, click a picture or simply upload a picture of your receipt to the portal in every form, adding your name and email address. Your purchase now turns into a donation to the mission you've chosen. Community Pay It Forward shares your business story with those in need of your services to rally support for those who need us all. Now, of course, there's one last step that I forgot on there, and it's you got to click enter. send or whatever the button says on the bottom. But it's really that simple. You get a receipt, you attach it to the form of the mission that you care about. When that happens, you become the support that they need. QR code up in the corner now is how you can join me on an episode of Community IMpACT. And believe me when I say this, they're not all like this. This one was especially difficult. So, but you know what? This is all the time that we got for tonight. Please stay tuned for Monday's episode of Footprints Forward. Very, very difficult one. I do not suggest you have your kids in the room for this one a lot. It's a very difficult story to listen to, but it's a very important story to listen to. My name is Zach Clayton with Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care. I am the founder of the PAC channels. I want to thank you very much. Please make sure you love somebody out there because somebody out here loves you. And make sure, folks, look, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone when we all come together. Thank you. Good night. And we will see you next week.
Show me the way. You want to hold the heart. Sunset Boulevard. Bring me here. 'Cause it's not quite clear to be apart. Sunset Boulevard.